Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons, the High Court of Bay, episode. I'm going to do a random number. 1d100.
Roll 1d100.
Okay, 46, which isn't actually all that far
not that
off.
far.
I think we're like 38, 39 in actual fact. Last time, the adventurers fought off a bunch of 2D living runes that were actually kind of nasty and it would explode on people because they could read themselves, but were also immune to the effects of explosive runes. Literacy is deadly in Dungeons and Dragons. Now, that's why barbarians in the older editions, being illiterate, was in fact a good option. Now, you got today the party wants to go and help the Black Summoner. And if you ignore... Oh. Thank you. If you ignore what's about to pass by, I'll bring you all to the...
The palace is on fire.
Oh, okay. Yep, the palace
Can't
is
get
on
that
fire.
by
In
me.
fact,
Just that specific
Perfect.
section.
Now we don't know what's on fire, but it's on fire.
Yes. And we go to the Empire map. You guys are currently in the border town. And you do need to get in the morning. The ritual starts at dawn. You guys need to get to the ritual site, which is 1,000 miles away.
Is that within teleport?
Effectively, yeah, that's a teleport right there.
Okay.
So, you guys are going to be fighting some horrific horror. Or at least the manifestation of it. You're also finally going to see Sarajin again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's that fool been up to?
Nothing important.
I mean, probably doing that ritual stuff. Like, thinking about it a whole lot. And hoping he doesn't fuck up on the continent.
Probably, last you left off, he was actually with the anvil, helping guard the amulet, and also learning from the anvil them going through control techniques that might help it not just create a giant explosion with fallout.
End of campaign. Boom. We did it. Everyone's dead.
Yay!
I would ask if some of you don't need to prepare spells, but others of you
Yeah,
would
I'm
have
basically
to
just going to copy-paste my Damon fight kit.
Okay.
Because that was a good kit for fighting giant interplanar scary things. Except not all the damage spells I could do. Different stuff.
Now, when you guys go to sleep, I'm assuming you guys will eventually go to sleep.
Probably not at the same time, but yeah.
Well, you have 2 hours, and probably maybe one person stays awake. I'll have Alexander be the person who stays awake because she isn't here.
Okay.
You guys feel yourselves in lieu of whatever normal dreams your characters will have. I will not go into that. That's for you to imagine. You find yourselves in a nice inn. It looks like the Golden Lotus. In fact, it looks like that meeting room. Except, instead of it just being you guys, there's also General Zen and General Hiru. No, not General Zen. General Zen's the one general not here. It's General Hiru and General Yang, the two generals who you have vague alliances with. General Yang is the one that wants to mainly defend. He's mainly focused on defense, and he wants to protect the civilians from the effects of the Civil War that he's hoping to stop. And Hiru, who is young, brilliant, wants to expand the empire, but doesn't care so much for the aristocracy, only for merit. Both of them have been targeted by the Emperor for treason, and their trial is going to be tomorrow. If you vaguely recall from the calendar that Frosty made.
Yes.
Could
Technically,
you
that was-
publicly share that and give a link to
Yeah, let me.
in the RPG chat text channel? RPG.
Portal Bay calendar. Share. And RPG channel.
So
There
are
we
we
go.
like all having a shared dream, or is this like you're by yourself and like these generals are there?
You're actually having a shared dream, which is the weirdest bit about this.
Cool.
You know it's strange because, well, you guys pretty much never share dreams. This is obviously done through magical means. You see in the dream Yang dressed in the most casual clothing you think a high general could ever dress in. It's pretty much just a silk gown and like slippers, and his eyes are half lidded and it looks like he's drinking a cup of sake. And you see Hiru dressed in full battle regalia. Hiru is ramrod straight. Yang is laying down in a cornucopia of pillows. Both of them seem to, well, both of them are here. And they both seem aware. And Yang greets you with a lazy wave. Hiru says nothing for now. Yang, after a sip. Welcome, friends. I think we had agreed on some kind of alliance, but if we hadn't, I had predicted we would. Welcome to a little dream assembly. It's one of the only ways the Emperor can't track our little conversations. His spies don't get into the dream world as much as they should.
How do we know that you're who you say you are?
Well, there has to be a little bit of faith, but I can also give you a few pieces of information that might make you believe me. Like, I know you're going to do some kind of... I know your people are kidnapping the Black Summoner and taking him away somewhere, but I'm not stopping it. I'm sure you're doing what is needed. Although I am mighty curious as to what you're doing. Yang does a lazy smile. Hiru kind of like puts his fists down onto the table, more gently than the usual slamming, and goes, "The way I can prove it to you is, Yang, why did we even decide to do this?" He turns to Yang and clearly exasperated? Yes.
Something like that.
And then Yang goes, "Well, they have to have a little bit of faith, and I can also tell them each bits from their folders that the Emperor kept on all of them. Only the High Generals had access to that, other than the Emperor and maybe the Emperor's assassins." Bah. Yang burps. But he goes, "Oh, I know who might be able to help. He should be here soon. He really likes this kind of thing. I hear he's good friends of yours. bursting through a wall about 10 seconds later is an incredibly excitable, scantily clad gnome.
Cadalatrix.
He smiles, and you see his smile widens, and then he turns into a miniature form of Cadalatrix, so he still fits in the room. It's like what Cadalatrix would look like if he was just shrunk to the size of a horse. Cadalatrix goes. He points towards Tiamos and says, "You should be able to feel through our familial and blood connection that I am me." Tiamos, you can roll a wisdom check.
Okay. What is my wisdom? My wisdom. Oh
It's
boy.
probably not great. Might be a
Nope.
dump stat.
It is.
1d20.
Yep.
You don't really feel, but then again, you aren't very good at this kind of thing. Ooh,
I'm
okay. I'm
I-
saying that Alexandra's not likely coming in tonight.
Okay. Well, we can at least do this.
So we can at least do this, and then I can set up the big thing, and then we can go straight into
Awesome.
it afterwards. So, shorter session tonight, guys, but that's fine. I know that at least 3 other people here will play Monster Hunter World.
Monster Hunter.
Now, technically, we actually skipped a day from the calendar, and that means we could have a side adventure.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Just pure.
you guys
insight.
are having
Go
this
for it.
dream
Yes.
in somewhere in those 2 days. The Cadalatrix then says, "Okay, well," he points towards Mazgus. "I am Cadalatrix, and those 2 are accurate dream representations of the actual General Yang and Hiru."
Muskus looks them up and down.
Cadalatrix is really good at lying, but you don't think he is.
If he was Cadalatrix, he would be capable of lying. But then I'd know he's Cadalatrix anyway.
Yes.
So really,
So,
unless someone can
so
lie as
your-
good as
your-
Cadalatrix,
Your gut instinct tells you this is Cadalatrix.
or it's the prince.
From all the little verbal tics and the way he moves and the way his loincloth jiggles. In the
Okay.
sort of motion that Cadalatrix, it seems like Cadalatrix forgets he only has 2 legs and is a bit uneasy on them. Or maybe he doesn't understand how centers of gravity work when he's a gnome.
Well, this is probably
Regardless, you're pretty sure that that's Cadalatrix, and you're pretty sure that those 2 are who they say they are.
Muskus says they are likely who they say they are. But we should still.
Hiru-
But we should still.
Hiru doesn't nod.
But we should still not reveal anything in case they become compromised in the future.
Yang gives a short laugh. He says, I don't want to know what you're doing at whatever black site you have. I'm mainly concerned about what you're doing on the day of my trial."
We're. Hmm.
Kind of wiggles his
We will be
eyebrows.
busy in the morning. When is your trial?
Oh, well, the Emperor's justice is sometimes slow and sometimes quick. I have not been given the date of my trial, but I do plan on missing it.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
we plan on going
Whoa,
back.
Wait, you don't know the date of
Yeah,
your trial?
yeah, the date.
We know
Well,
the date of
I
your
don't
trial.
know the time
Okay.
of my trial. I know the date,
Okay.
Okay.
So
and I don't want to be there.
if you can hold on until the afternoon, at least, then we'll be back in the capital.
We heard from a frenemy of ours that it's going to be delayed to tomorrow, but hopefully, even in the worst case, it's delayed till later today.
But yeah, I apologize, but we must do what we must do in the morning.
Otherwise, everything is gonna be.
It's gonna be a lot harder to make things right.
It's gonna be a sad, sad time.
Well, I'd like to say I understand, but I don't actually understand what you're doing. But I can understand you being busy, as I know I've been. And I know Hiro has been even busier than me, although he doesn't tell me about it. Yang smiles and Hiro kind of tries to hide a scowl, but he can only partially hide it because his face is covered. Because he has like a helmet, like a full body helmet. Hiro goes, both Yang and I have decided that we will not participate in the trial.
Understandable. Considering it's not really a trial.
Because we do not believe that it will be suitably... Well, we do not believe it will serve justice.
Will you two be protecting each other, or are you going to try to stake it out alone?
Yang gives a wry smile. Hiro seems to toughen his shoulders. He says, I have asked Yang for some help. Yang is better at trickery than I am.
That's probably wise.
Yang says, well, we both have had to leave the capital as the voice has gone on a small rampage. She threw a rather large part of a temple into a particularly interesting garden.
Ah, yes.
A garden at the end of the Temple of Ascension. Yang's eyes glitter with intelligence and bemusement. Am I to think that there might be a mantle holder? Hiro just kind of looks at Yang disappointedly and then turns to you. Says, I would ask which one of you is the mantle holder so I can begin negotiations for my future employment.
You'll have to speak with several of us in that case.
Yang's eyebrows raise a bit. Hiro looks around and goes, that's quite unorthodox. But, do you plan on forming a council? Will the Empire still be an empire, or will it be a republic when you're done with it?
I don't plan on making any significant changes at this time. First, we have to get rid of the sickness, which is the current emperor.
Down with the sickness.
Get it down with the sickness.
But things will change, as all things do, when new people take control.
Hiro nods. You're sufficiently non-committal. Yang, sir, all Yang does is say, so, I hope you do have a plan on dealing with the voice, because while I might trick her for a bit, I do not have the raw power to actually take down the voice.
Our plan is what we're doing in the morning. But
so at the end of that...
The thing is, to start the plan, we need to get the voice out of the way. So it's kind of a little puzzle when you think about it.
We don't have to get her out of the way for the tomorrow morning's plan.
If she finds us.
Oh, she won't.
We have to break into the capital.
No, we don't.
We
I think we need to talk aside.
Oh, yeah. You guys can talk aside a bit. Because your characters would have discussed this before this dream thing happened.
So on the aside, the Black Summoner's already been kidnapped out of the capital and is waiting for us at the ritual site.
Wait,
yes.
really? Oh.
We don't have to do that.
Well, does the voice...
The voice arranged it, but then made herself
with
forget.
That weird stuff, that weird sauce.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
with the effectively memory loss water.
Probably good for your long-term brain health, I'm sure.
The reason why she reincarnates so often.
Oh god, that... What the fuck does the Empire
I mean, this can only end badly because, you know, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless
Oh, no.
Mind.
Okay, so in that case,
But yeah, we actually are not going to the capital until after we get the summoner.
And Yang has pointed out that he knows of your plan to smuggle the Black Summoner out.
Which
Okay.
should be happening as
He-
we sleep.
Yes.
Unless something bad happens, and in which case, fuck. We'll be tight on time.
Then we'll all be dead.
So then back to the... We unhuddle.
Yes. Yang says, I also, I need your opinion on someone. You see, I have many points of intelligence, price most false, on a alleged criminal, the first prince of is it the first or third? You see,
doesn't
the
matter.
information is... The information actually has a few very interesting rumors. But what is the prince doing? Because I'm hearing some very strange rumors as to where he's sending troops.
He's probably talking to people.
He's always talking
Oh,
to
that's the
people.
most dangerous thing this prince does, isn't it?
I
We
mean,
do need...
old grudges and all the Rouhani hate the Yang first, so that's probably where they'd send them first.
Can...
Well, the rumor and a reliable source outside the Emperor tell me he's sending troops west, outside of the deserts of Ruha, away from the Empire. He's even
out there?
sent one or two purple worms.
Is there anything out there?
I guess I would have you guys roll an
Is it the-
intelligence check on either node, or a wisdom check, or a knowledge geography.
Would it be the ruins?
It's actually the edge of the world. It's just like a cliff, and everyone walks off, and they just die.
No, they fall into the
No,
water
it's
of the ocean on the right, and they keep swimming.
Oh shit! Oh my god, they're gonna go so far west they'll attack from the east. You'll never see it coming.
Fuck.
You
Oh.
won't.
So that's what the threat was. The Emperor said, "Attack the ocean because it's actually the desert."
Oh, shit.
Both rely on water,
Knowledge geography, I got nothing. I think I can make that
or
skill check.
intelligence, or wisdom.
Oh, wisdom! Thank God.
Yeah, I expanded this so that it's attainable.
Oh, nat
Ah!
20. I
Okay.
made my
Okay.
play in my meta guess. Ruins of Nalhun?
Good guess.
Damn.
But you start thinking about it, and he could either be sending troops to the ruins of Nalhun and purple worms there, or he could be sending troops against the undead horde that you've heard is attacking countries far to the west of the Empire.
Forgot about
Those
that.
are the two threats that you know.
Are there any ley lines out that way?
Oh yeah. Past the desert of Ruha, there are ley lines out there. So he could be trying to get to a source of ley lines that don't go through the desert of Ruha,
And get into the vault that
so
way.
that
That's
he can get to the vault.
probably.
So there's
a
about
smart idea.
3 reasons why. One, to attack the ruins of Nahun, or investigate or take something from. The other, to start fending off the undead horde coming from the west. Or to find a good ley line to do his incredibly risky teleport maneuver. But which ones are you actually going to tell Yang about?
I think it's probably safest to tell him about the horde.
Yeah.
We don't want to miss... I think Muscus would say, whatever the prince is doing right now, I don't think... If you figured out what it looks like he's doing, that's not what he's actually doing.
He is one of the most covert men that I've ever known. In fact, he's had a simulacrum running around the capital under heavy surveillance for at least a month.
Why hasn't anyone killed him? The second him.
Well, you see, while the prince has many defenses against divination, the simulacrum, being made in likeness of himself, is one of the few things we can use as a focus point to get what few divinations that work through. It's a source of information, and also it's a source of information for what it does.
Fair enough.
Hiru says, I personally would rather have it destroyed, but Yang and Zen both refused. I was overridden. Yang says, oh, don't be a spoil sport. You got several concessions for that one. That and, well, you guys have been terribly busy. Any kind of spies and intelligence that I've gotten off of you has you flitting about here and there, being in the auction house, being outfitted with what several historical archivists are calling artifacts from the ancient days. Yang takes another drink. And generally rising very quickly above your initial stations. It's amazing how much power you've gained in such a short time. How does it feel to be blessed by the four pillars? Yang is looking at almost all of you having visible scales.
Is Akane here?
Akane is not. Evidently, Yang did not think to bring
Muscus
Akane.
looks around for a moment. Where's Akane?
Your companion? I did not bring her
she's
here.
one of the mantle holders.
Yang, this is the first time you've seen Yang actually look genuinely confused. Like, this is something that, like, his incredibly intense mind, which rivals Lalara's, like, trying to spin through that fact.
Lalara just looks at him and says, let it happen.
Well, he seems to, on the table, which he takes a cloth off of, and it reveals to be a chess, the Chinese fantasy equivalent of chess. Seems to move a piece and move it forward.
Chinese
and
checkers? Show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moves a piece forward, and after about a minute of him concentrating heavily, a raven-sized version of Akane kind of materializes in the room. It looks very confused because everyone's bigger than they should be.
Kong points and laughs.
Kong,
Kong and
Yang
Lang?
sees that and suddenly becomes about a quarter of his usual size.
Onan points and laughs.
Yang looks at Onan and says, really?
Hey, we're siblings. We're allowed to.
Yang does not address that comment. And so,
I mean, he's blessed by one of the pillars, so I get to make a bit of fun of him. He's got a better dragon.
have you performed incredibly dangerous magical enhancement rituals on everyone?
No.
Hiro asks in in exasperation.
Moscus kind of
Literally one person is.
Moscus kind of straightens his back out a little, and he's the only one who is not enhanced.
Okay. Yang says, back to what we were originally talking about. How many of you have the mantle now?
4, 5 with
You
the bird.
do know that the Emperor knows, so you guys
Oh,
are
yeah.
telling Yang even if he gets compromised. It doesn't matter.
Moscus and Akane, not Onan, not Tiamos,
Oh, none, not Khan.
not... Oh wait, Onan did do it? Oh,
Yep.
sorry.
So it's
Just-
five.
It's 5.
Just Tiamos and Saruman didn't.
Okay.
Timo, Saruman, and Kong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's one of the... Question, who... In the name Six Stack, who are the six? Because obviously Kong is one of them. Akane is definitely one of them.
Onan, I guess, isn't.
Yeah, Onan and Moscus aren't. Wait, no. Saruman isn't because she needs the element of surprise, right? Like, people will expect 6 people, even counting the monkey, and then the 7th swoops in from behind. And it's just Moscus not on the list. There we go. Figured it out.
So, Yang goes, that is rather unprecedented. We've never had 5 living mantle holders at once. No, 6 living mantle holders at once. I am fascinated by what it does, but I don't actually understand that much about the mantle. He puts his hand up. You don't need to tell me right now. I understand this is not really the place. But also, I think that our dear General Hiru would throw a fit if I asked about something not immediately important to the staying of the obviously false allegations of treason. I would say obviously false, but we are actually planning treason right now.
Yeah.
Now, I imagine that as powerful as you are, you still don't have an army.
You would be correct. Yeah.
I mean,
I
yeah.
don't think we need one for what we're trying to do.
Yang nods and has a small, satisfied smile. Hiro seems to relax a bit. It seems like both of them were a bit worried that you guys had also managed to get an army as well.
Not for lack of trying.
But with the support of the pillars, you have the equivalent thereof. Yang kind of waves his hand. I've also never seen so many sightings of the Twilight Keeper in such a short time, and also the anvil seems to have gone missing. But her order doesn't seem to be panicked, so I imagine she's somewhere. Oh, you don't need to tell me, I'm just thinking out loud.
You think pretty good about it.
Oh, yes, well, that's why I'm one of the high generals. I think of tactics. But I also fundamentally just want to play my pie show and read history books and drink. And unfortunately, this whole Civil War treason business is stopping me from doing everything but the drinking bit.
Have Moscus turns to Cabdalatrix. Have we discussed?
Gadaltrix is just soaking this all in and loving it.
Have we discussed where the rest of the pillars will be tomorrow?
Oh, the anvil will be accompanying Sarah.
Yes, but what about yourself? And
I'm running interference so that I will be helping the ritual, but I will be outside. I will be making sure that nothing that the Emperor sends will interrupt it. And if something breaks loose, he smiles, and Yang looks like wilts a bit with the idea of something breaking loose. that I will help keep it contained. The anvil is going to help reinforce the wards to keep everything contained. If the wards fail, then the anvil and I will be fighting whatever horrific influence to make sure that it doesn't permanently poison the countryside. The more Kidaltric speaks, the paler Yang gets. Because Yang has no idea what your ritual is going to do.
Oh yeah, Cadalatrix, I meant to ask, does it help if I know the name of the thing? We got that given to us by the
The only
Dawn
one
Caller.
who needs to know the name already does.
Okay,
And that's Sarajin.
alright.
Where will the
Because Sarajin is performing the ritual. Cadaltrix is seemingly trying to walk the fine line of saying stuff just to worry the two generals, but not actually reveal what's happening.
And where will the Dawn Caller be for the rest of the day?
I have not received an answer from the Dawn Caller on that, but I know she's alive. I feel it through the bond.
To kind of cause a little an agreement.
Yep. The Dawn Caller will show up if she shows up. Yazadul is likely going to be dealing with stuff to the west. He seems to look at you and be trying to will you to understand exactly what he's saying.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
That's a sense motive, I assume.
Yep. Nalhoon.
Hmm.
So evidently when something's happening, whatever you're doing might be affecting Nalhoon as well.
Interesting.
Okay.
And Musk's just nods.
Does anyone still live there, or did the whole thing get nuked and not returned?
From meta-wise, you guys know, especially from reports that have happened after, the Emperor and his army have thoroughly cleansed the city with fire, and then cleansed it again, and pretty much in the past month, let's look at the... So in the past 2 months, the Emperor has been trying his best to make sure that nothing has come out of that, because the whole city there was either the leadership or a cult had pervaded through the city that made it linked to whatever eldritch monstrosity that was there.
Yeah, okay.
The Emperor has sent several squads and posted bounties for clearing out the bottom parts of the city that might not have been cleansed by fire enough. You don't think anything that should be living is living in the city.
Yeah, okay.
Not to say that there isn't stuff there. Yang sort of he looks at Cadalatrix and says, "Are you just going to tease me incessantly about this ritual? Are you actually going to tell me something so that I can be less worried?" Cadalatrix just smiles a shit-eating grin.
That's a no.
Hiru sort of gives his shoulders do a bit of a jump of suppressed laughter as Yang just gives you a nasty look. "You must understand," Yang says, as he lazily brings another bottle up for him to drink from. "I'm trying to defend the Empire from threats outside and in. I've already had to devote many of my resources to defending us from the ocean, which, although it has done results, is not worth the amount of manpower and expenditure that I've had to do. And, frankly, I don't need he points towards Cadalatrix. You just coming in just to feed off of drama. You draconic vampire. As Yang says that, Cadalatrix puts the back of his palm to his forehead and swoons, fainting into some pillows. I would never, says Cadalatrix. Obviously lying.
Can we have an aside for a second?
Of course.
So, assuming only the party can hear, I think that the prince is probably going to take that army to the vault. And
Probably.
maybe we should bring their armies back from the coast to meet at the vault.
Remember, the only people that can get into the vault
true.
are pretty much given permission by someone who has the mantle. The prince probably couldn't bring his whole army into the vault. He could only bring things that could fit inside the golem.
But maybe...
Not to say that he couldn't fit, like, bags of holding. You have no idea what would happen if bags of holding filled with things were put into a golem that was then teleported through a ley line, because that is strictly theoretical shit. Lalara or Shakti, both of you who have high spellcraft checks, can roll spellcraft and try to figure out if the prince can actually bring an army's worth of things through his golems. Okay. Oh, none actually is a pretty good spellcraft.
Yeah, it's just some crafting and such.
Oh, true enough.
She does some spells, she does some crafts.
She occasionally does both at once. So, the three of you putting your heads together are relatively certain that there is a high probability of any extra dimensional space being teleported through inside of Golem through a ley line would likely rupture or break from the magical forces thereof. So it is possible, but it would have a high casualty rate.
Okay. Making it not feasible.
Making it an incredibly risky move. Both Chelsea gets the additional insight that the prince is likely bringing only a small cadre of servants. The rest of his servants could be going elsewhere, because once they're out of the deserts of Ruha, they can be teleported without the interference of the desert. So his troops could be going somewhere else.
Should we have them bring the army back to the capital in case there is something the prince has planned to try and take it?
That's up to you guys to decide. So, I open it to group discussion.
I mean, bringing the army to the capital, you know it's going to be a conflict, because the army that is accusing them is also going to be there, or that is upstanding their accusation. And the more muscles clashing, the more innocents are dying. If anything, we want to have these two armies as far apart when shit goes down.
We also don't want the wrong army to win.
That's true.
Yep.
Who currently has the Pearl of Peace?
The anvil.
The anvil,
Damn.
right.
So she could have given it to anyone in an organization.
You don't know if the anvil is planning on trying to resolve the part of the Civil War, at least stall it through the Pearl of Peace. But you could always ask. You could always ask Cadalatrix to do something.
Yeah.
Act as a messenger.
Everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Hey, Cadalatrix.
Okay, so
Could you see where the anvil put the Pearl of Peace? And
the Pearl of Peace is in her armor. scales.
Ah, perfect. Then we'll definitely need her at the Capitol tomorrow.
You could convince her to go there. I believe. Just appeal to her mighty sense of duty. And her unbending will towards civilization. Cadalatrix is doing, like, arm motions with this. Like, heavily exaggerated, straight arm motions. As he says that. Yang goes, I had heard that some of the pearls had been found, but you found the Pearl of Peace?
Among others.
Well,
Top secret information.
it appears like there might not be civil war for at least a day.
That's long enough.
Yang smiles and says, "You're mighty confident. I like it. Don't tell me too much."
Well, it'll
figure
either
it
be fine or we'll all be dead, and we won't mind anymore either way.
Yang is not. You can tell by Yang's face he's not comforted by that.
And for such a religious person, it bothers me you don't believe in that.
What?
Oh.
I said I wouldn't mind. I'd be dead. Why would I
Yeah,
care about
I
the
think
world
you
of the
could
living
start
if I'm dead?
You don't think you're gonna like look down over your balcony on the world of the living and be like, oh yeah.
Do
I
you
made
know
this a better
anything
place."
about
Oh, a bunch
other
of you are going to be in the
planes?
fucking well, so shut up.
I think Onan needs to travel to other planes of existence to really understand.
I mean, probably. He's got time. His soul is only being slowly sucked out into a vat.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So is there anything...
Hiro says, we have withdrawn most of our troops from around the capital. It pains me to give up the capital, but the Emperor has too many servants, and General Zen is too well liked in the capital. We have agents, but we will have no army at the capital. We do not wish to cause bloodshed, as we were hoping that there would be a relatively peaceful transition of power. He's looking at all of you.
The transition between most people will be peaceful. Just...
I imagine that the Emperor might not like the transition.
I'm not sure if he can be recovered.
Not sure if he has a choice.
Well, it's not that he's a choice, but I don't know if he can be cured.
We will learn this morning if there's a chance to save him. Or if the darkness needs to die with him. Or rather, he needs to die with the darkness.
Yang's has just a poker face on. Hiru nods.
Oh, I want to see that poker face. How good's your poker face?
Poker face. Yang seems displeased at the idea that the Emperor... that effectively you guys aren't going to try to capture the Emperor, at least you're so willing to go towards the kill option.
Okay, listen, I love our empire more than anyone, I think, but the consequence if we try that and it screws up is there's not going to be an empire left after that.
Well, you guys get to Yang and Hiro just seem to accept that. Yang seems to just agree to disagree. Hiro is on board.
Okay.
Yang
I
goes,
like him.
if a civil war breaks out, the states the provinces will likely will form sides, and there will probably be even civil wars inside the provinces. The instability and unrest are not good for our nation, Yang says. And I hope that your justice is swift and just. Hiru goes, good luck. We'll be in contact.
Thank you.
And Kedalatrix says, see you tomorrow, my darlings. And seems to just fade out of existence. The dream realm ends, and Saruman looks at all of you a little bit strangely, like you have been tossing and turning in your sleep. The dawn arrives, and it is time for the ritual. I assume you go towards the ritual site?
Sure do.
I
Who
think I'm just gonna
teleports?
stay here. I like this desert town. Want to just retire here? This whole thing blow over?
I'm sure that'll happen.
Okay. You guys, one of you cast teleport. I need to know which one, though.
Onan has a bunch of those.
I have one.
Oh, none uses one of hers. And you guys teleport to the ritual site. You're on target, having been given the coordinates by, well, by the voice. If you zoom out, the ritual site seems to be nestled in what you can see is an artificial, I guess, valley. There's a ring of earth that has been moved up, a massive ring that has various rocks and crystals. And when you look closer into the ground, writings carved into the hills. The inside valley of the hill is entirely stone. And in it is a square, I guess you'd call it almost arena, or a square area surrounded by the same crystals you see on the hills. You don't see any walls, but then when a wind picks up and some dust blows, you see dust hit against what you can only assume is a wall of force surrounding the area. Inside is a altar that looks like it's a small step pyramid covered in writing. And there are pillars inside of the arena that each have writings on them as well. This must have been a massive undertaking. All of the runes you see are about containment and fortification. As you arrive, there on the north end, there's a gate made out of reinforced metals and incredibly thick. As you teleported near it and flew in, as you fly in, you see there's a flurry of activity from the figures below. And you recognize a lot of them as people from the Black Summoner's Court. Almost all of them, or all of them you presume, being Black Summoner loyalists. people who want to see him restored to power. Flying up on his mount, Mozga sees his friend in the court, who gives him a jaunty wave and points him towards the gate.
Oh.
I don't know exactly what we're doing, but we've been given strict orders not to go into the Wall of Forest area. I hope you know what you're doing. He smiles.
Thank you.
I've never seen these reports be so classified. Whatever you're doing must be very important.
It's very dangerous, so please make sure to stay back.
He nods. I'm on patrol. I don't want to go anywhere near there. He gives a smile. He takes a look at Akane and seems to notice how much more draconic Akane has gotten. You see him make a mental note to ask you about it later. And you guys go down to the gate. At the gate are 6 heavily armed and armored guards with a robed woman figure, who are guarding a robed figure. She takes off her hood, and you see it as one of the Voice's assistants.
Oh.
She goes, more. You're exactly the people I've been waiting for. I've been given sealed orders by the Voice to open as you arrive. But before I open it, I have to ask you one thing. Can you prove you are who you are, and this is not just some strange illusion? I don't want to open these gates for people who are not, well, the list of authorized individuals.
Mozga simply gestures to Akane. Just like a get a load of this. And then Akane, I guess she can grip the ground and try to pull up as much as she can.
Okay. Akane just pulls up a giant chunk of earth. She says, stop, please. The integrity of this place is paramount, and no illusion could do that.
She tries to put it back down.
What if it's an illusion over a very strong man?
No man could do that. She also seems to cast a few detection spells of her own. She seems satisfied with the results of the spells, and gestures for the doors to be open. The doors start opening. It's a very slow process, as the doors, you realize, are 2 feet thick of reinforced metal and stone. After they open outwards, and you're let in. She says, the only other people I'm letting in is a Samsaran named Sarajin and someone, and the Anvil? Yes, the Anvil. Also, I'm told in emergencies, Cadalatrix.
That sounds about right.
Hello?
Yep.
Get ready and set up, and we will. Let's see. Let me move you guys in. Boop. There you are.
Well, it's a big area.
This is a big area.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Zoom out if you need to figure it out. The area is about 210 by 210 feet. It is a square. The pyramid raises to about 10 feet above the rest of the ground. And you guys spend a few, I guess you guys can spend a little bit of time around. But after about 10 minutes, the gates open again, and and Sarajin steps through. The Anvil, who is in her humanoid, like full plate armored form, sort of waves him through and then says, "Remember what I told you." Sarajin goes, "How could I forget?" The door closes with a finality, and Sarajin is carrying a box. He's actually carrying 2 boxes. Both roughly the size of you would call it maybe double the size of a shoebox. He's balancing both, and he lifts one arm up. He says, "This has the stasis body of the Black Summoner." He raises the other hand. "This has the fully powered Bane of Artifice. I need to move both of them to the altar."
Just gonna like pour them out into a bigger box.
Sarajin walks forward and ignores your question. Sarajin puts the Black Summoner's box down, says a few words, and the Black Summoner is laying down. You see, you can, despite the stasis, or sort of, he puts the box down, says a word, and it expands out, and then Sarajin takes off the lid, and it appears like it's just a sleeping Black Summoner. You can see across his chest, they haven't taken him out of his battle clothes that he was in over 2 months ago. It seems like they put him in stasis the moment he got to the capital. You can see his 3 he has like 3 gashes across various parts of his body, and each of the gashes has a sickly green-purple energy that, despite the stasis, that it should be like frozen, is still slowly swirling. The Black Summoner's face is obviously apparent he was stasised while in agony. Sarajin puts down the next box, seems to take a flask out of his... Oh, he takes a flask from a bag of holding and starts sprinkling the water around the pyramid. He says, "It will take about 10 minutes for me to prepare this platform for the ritual to minimize the damage." He starts slowly but surely, very methodically, blessing things and consecrating things, and then after about 9 minutes, he finally takes the lid off of the box to the Bane of Artifice. Everyone who has a connection to the mantle, make a will save.
Oh boy.
You all pass. As the Bane of Artifice is taken out of its, what you now see is 7 boxes deep box, you just feel the mantle recoil at its presence, like it's anathema to the mantle's existence. You realize that this is one of the reasons why emperors haven't looked for this. This being found again means that it can destroy a person's connection to the mantle and theoretically destroy the mantle itself if used on the wrong thing. It glows with power, and you actually start to gain some appreciation for the anvil who sat beside it while charging. Because the anvil's own connection to the mantle would have made her skin crawl. Maybe not as powerfully as your reaction, but you know that it's dangerous. You also don't know how Sargent is holding it so calmly as he picks it up out of the box and starts saying prayers in his ancient tongue. You know that the moment that amulet is put onto the Black Summoner, that it's going to unleash horrific power into the Black Summoner, and that will cause the ritual to begin. Sargent turns to you all. The ritual itself will not take all that long. I've been informed of a way that is longer than what I did for my own Empress, but not too long. My own Empress, I unleashed the full power of the Bane of Artifice, and it made the Desert of Ruha. This one, I'm going to release its power over roughly a minute, maybe 2. And I need you to defend me as I do so. I don't want to have to find this amulet after another lifetime. You don't know if Sargent is joking or not. He doesn't seem to be the type to joke. You think that he's just stating a very deep fact. I can heal myself slightly while I do the ritual, but if I get injured too much or
I got you covered.
damaged, the ritual might be, and the exorcism, I will call it, will be disrupted. I cannot guarantee the results. Please, I put my life and the life of everyone. He points towards the figures of the Black Summoner's court who ring the hills that look down upon the site. All of their lives are in our hands. Please treat them well. Sargent pulls out of a bag of holding a pillow, puts it on the ground, sort of so that he can kneel facing the Black Summoner, and says, I can start when you are ready. Please, put some defensive magics. I'll put some of my own. And this, I think, is where I'm going to end the session.
Sounds good.
All right.
Because if we go much further, it's just going to be the fight.
Yeah.
We'll have a week to think about prep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I hope that wasn't just too much of an info dump.
was
I
good.
was planning on less.
No,
No,
fine.
it's good.
but
That was very nice.
Yeah.
Alexandra having her issue, while unfortunate, does delay game. And that is simply
no.
unacceptable. I will not allow any of you to have any kind of that issue.
Yeah. Sarahman's gone to the party now.
Oh shit.
Yep. I just
chronic
kicked her out right
absences.
now.
Yeah.
She fell off the bird on the way
We
there.
do the scene.
Yep. She fell into a plot.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You could never get out of that.
How did we get here before then? I don't know. Plot hole.
Basically, when no one's playing the character, they just go limp. It's just a thing that happens, and she just fell right off the bird this time. It was bound to happen.
Alright, well,
It was her fault for not strapping in.
that's right.
Ian said roll a reflex save, and she didn't. It's an on fail.
There you go. Thanks, stream.